Marvin, right now I don't have the money to send you off to college. Did you end up taking the entrance exam anyway, even after I told you this once already before?
Huh?
Even if you have luck on your side and pass that exam, I promised you that I'd only be able to pay to support you for a while longer, and that meant you're not going to college. Jesus, I cannot believe that you've gone ahead and done that, even with me saying no.
Mom? What are you even going on about right now? I thought I already discussed with you that I'm going to be getting a bit of scholarship money to help me out my first 2 years.
Huh?
A year ago, before Dad went overseas for work, I was discussing all of this with him, and you were with us there as well. The only one that seemed to be interested in what I was talking about was Dad at the time, but you did tell me congrats on the money, and that as long as whatever I was doing didn't get in the way of Kara, I was free to do it.
I said that?
I understand that with the illness that Kara has had, it's forced you and Dad to put a lot of money into her treatments, and those treatments have been going on for years now. And that's the reason why I've been trying my best and have made it to a point where I'll receive a bit of scholarship money from the state. Yet, you still want me to give up on going to college?
I told you that right after graduating from high school to get yourself a job and start making money for this family.
After all those times of you talking down to your siblings for never going to college and only ever working their whole lives, you're going to ask your own son to do the same as them?
Well, that's a different story.
Sure it is. I get that for the longest time now. While Kara has been so sick and in the hospital a lot of the time, you've been stressed out about life and take it out a lot on others. But Kara is getting better now, and you need to start thinking about changing how you think about things with the rest of us moving forward. I get it though. You still care a whole lot more about her than me, and will do anything to make sure she lives the life she wants. Even going and asking me to give up on my dreams of going to college for some reason you don't even agree with.
Well, if you understand how I'm feeling right now.
But Mom, I'm her older brother, and I'm not going to waste my potential by not going to school to gain a degree. I want to do well for myself, not just for better money, but so that I can support Kara as well if she ever needs something from me later in life. And that's why I want to go to college and study even more. I want to learn about all sorts of things and hope to one day find an amazing job where I can put all I've learned to use. Me going to college isn't just about me, Mom. It's about more than just me. It's about making sure that Kara has a safe future as well. I get that I don't have the most outstanding scores in the world, but with this money I'm getting from the state, and with my chances of at least getting in, I think I'll be okay. So please, stop trying to control what I do by saying that you don't have the money to pay for me or that you want me to work for your sake.
I get it. Well, as long as you're not going to cause any problems for Kara, then go right ahead and go to school. You really need to learn how to talk to your mom correctly, though. Marvin, did you get yelled at by your mom again? Well, I was sitting in front of the TV doing my rehabilitation work when I heard her talking about you in the kitchen.
You're talking about what just happened between us. Well, Mom was just trying to tell me that going to college would cost her a lot of money, and that's why she didn't want me going. But then I asked her if she'd forgotten about how I spoke with her and Dad about me getting a scholarship for 2 years, and that she wouldn't have to worry about paying for me. However, after mentioning that, she told me I should be working after high school to make money for the family. Then I told her about how she always spoke poorly of her family because they all went right to work after high school instead of going to college, and how it's odd she'd asked for me to do the same. Well, that seemed to have upset her a bit, but she wasn't able to make any more comments.
Ah, so that's what that was all about then. Mom really doesn't have a clue about how hard you've been working to get into college and everything without having to pay too much. Does she not even realize that you've been the one homeschooling me this whole time while I've been sick, and you've only just gotten a break from it now after I started to feel better and got back into the public schools?
I'm sure she doesn't care, but I'm really glad to hear that you're doing well in school with all those other kids now. So, thank you for being such a close listener thank you for being such a close listener as my student.
Well, thank you for teaching me.
To be honest, I kind of like being your teacher. It helped me learn and train a bit about what it's really like to be a teacher, and that's something I'll be able to utilize later in life.
But still, I'm thankful that you were there to teach me after you got out of school.
No problem.
Marvin, I'm going to assume that the graduation ceremony is over now.
It's all finished. And as I thought, you didn't even bother coming to see me there. I can understand Dad not being there, as he's on the other side of the globe for work currently. But the only person in my grade that didn't have anyone come to see their graduation was me.
Is that so? Well, that's not of any interest at the moment. Right now, I have something to tell you now that you're no longer in school.
What?
Sometime before the end of the day, I want you to get out of my house.
Pardon me?
And the reason for this is because Kara is asking it.
Kara wants me to leave the house?
Kara has told me that she wants to be an only child now at home, so she's asked me to have you gone from the house.
Huh? Why would she ever say such a hurtful thing about me? There's no way she actually said that.
But she did. She did. And as for myself, I only believe that she's my true child, and that you're just some straggler. In other words, I don't need you in my life, Marvin. So don't even bother coming back home anymore.
If that's what you want, I guess I don't really care that I have to leave the house now. I've already taken most of my things out of my room anyway, so this isn't a problem at all.
Huh?
Are you going to say that you didn't notice a thing? Well, I guess I'll have to get you up to date on this. The college that I'll be going to in September is about 7 hours away from home.
Huh? 7 hours?
In other words, you have zero clue what college your son is about to be going to, do you? Well, I don't really care if you know where I go or not. Well, that's all I have to say to you. Goodbye forever, ex-mom.
Good morning, Marvin. I'm assuming that yesterday you were able to make it safely to an apartment near the college that you'll be attending this fall, right?
Good morning, Kara. That's right. Right after my graduation ceremony ended, I got into my car with a lot of my things and made the 7-hour trip to the apartment. I just had myself a small breakfast and am now starting on cutting into all of the boxes I brought along and setting my new place up.
Well, while you're at it, I'll be taking Mom off your hands and going out to play with her.
Well, I'll be waiting then.
And by the way, what did you do about the name on that apartment? Well, one of my friend's sisters who works for the realty business explained a lot of this to me in depth. She explained that since you're only just going into college, it might be hard for you to get an apartment on your own, both legally and because the school might not allow it.
Well, now that you brought that up, I forgot to mention that to either you or Mom. Well, I guess I really couldn't mention it at the time, but anyway, the name on this place is Dad's.
Is that right?
Actually, back in May, he came back to America for a month and was in town to see me. And while he was around, he came and helped me with all the things required to get me into this place.
That's a bit unexpected.
I understand that Mom is probably trying to get you to think that Dad is some kind of selfish man that doesn't really care all too much about us, but he's actually quite the opposite. He was very happy to come back to town to help me with the apartment, and he even paid for my first few months of rent.
Is that right?
And it'll only be another 3 months or so before he comes back from overseas for good, and we'll be living back in the States. So during that time, if you ever feel that you need someone to come and help you, and Mom's being a jerk about it, make sure to ask Dad for help, because I'm sure he'll come right to you.
You think so? All right then. And within another year or so, I think I will have the ability to break out of this place for good.
In only another year?
Well, when I'm old enough to get into high school, I should be able to make a plea to live on my own. And so I'm aiming for that time right now, so that everything goes smoothly and I can get the heck out of here. And I'm sure that will all be made easier if Dad and you are able to lend me a hand when I need it, you know? After all, when I leave her, I might need a place to stay, or at least a small amount of financial help.
I'm not sure what all you plan on doing there.
I'm still thinking through a lot of the details, so when I know more about what I want to do, I'll let you know. Kara! Are you really planning to start playing tennis at high school? You must have heard about that from Dad. You can't do that! I want you to enter the debate club, please. Why should I go into debate? Because your body is far too weak right now for you to be playing any sports at all. And something like tennis, you need a lot more strength to play a sport like that. Well, from what I've heard the doctor tell me, I'm no longer sick and can get back to being a normal kid. You used to be in choir back when you were in middle school. You don't even want to join that club again? But in choir club, I still had to move around on stage a lot for some of the performances. What? Having to sing already uses a lot of one's strength, and then having to dance around at times and also stand up on stage for hours at a time. When we practiced after school, we'd even do a little bit of exercising to maintain proper muscle and everything for our shows. Excuse me? What did you think you were doing back then? You were so weak and still are, and they were making you exercise and all that? Well, that's why I'm saying this now. I've been over my sickness for over 3 years now, and a lot of my strength has come back to me, making me feel even better than ever. And that's partially due to me being able to exercise during choir back then. I understand you wanting to feel worried about me since I was sick for so long and without a whole lot of strength, but I'm no longer as weak as I was then and am ready to move on. I've already moved on, actually. But listen, Kara, going into something like tennis means you'll be busy all week long practicing. And you'll have to go to practice and games on the weekends. And another thing, I was finally able to get rid of that Marvin guy that kept living in our house all these years, so we finally have time to be together with one another in this house without anyone bothering us. So don't waste all that time that we could be spending together on something like tennis. Huh? What did you just say? Did you just say that Marvin was getting in our way? My brother? Your son? You told me a while back that you wanted to become an only child, right? And you and I both never really thought of Marvin as being a part of this family, right? Are you freaking kidding me, Mom? Was that something I said to you years and years ago when I was in the middle of being deathly ill? Because that sounds to me like something I said when going through all those treatments and being on loads of medication. Well, if I did say something like that, I didn't mean it at all. What do you mean? I mean that I probably meant to say something else. Like how it felt like I was an only child because Marvin had to sacrifice his time to become another parent of mine. Maybe I meant that had I never been born, Marvin could have lived a better life at home with his mother. Huh? Of course, right now I don't think anything like that anymore, and I'm very happy that I had someone like Marvin as my older brother to be around the house all day with me. It's because of him stepping in to homeschool me that I was able to get right back into public schooling when the doctors let me out of the hospital and allowed me to start moving on my own. And as for the high school exams that he had to focus on while doing all of that for me, you told him he couldn't study for those exams because he had to be at home to take care of me while you went off somewhere. So you know what he did? He stayed up all night on the computer after I fell asleep and studied his butt off. And then when it came time to help me study, he'd forgot about all his work and only focused on me. And guess what else? While he was so focused on making sure my grades were okay and that I'd be able to make it to high school, he was still working his butt off for his college entrance exam, and even passed those too. I'm seriously going to be forever grateful to him after all those years he had to sacrifice for me, while also finding ways to keep pushing himself forward. Kara! And so to help make going to high school a lot easier for myself, I'll be moving to Marvin's apartment and leaving this town. Huh? You're moving out? Actually, I already had all my stuff moved out of the house and am currently on a plane heading to him. I told him that the STEM-based school near his college is where I wanted to go, and so he offered that I stay at his place while going there. What are you even talking about, Kara? I know for a fact that you'll be starting class soon at the high school in town with all your friends, right? This has been the high school you've been wanting to go to for a long time now, right? Huh? Are you sure about that? I get that you wanted me to go there since it was in town and has a really good debate team, which you wanted me on. But I told you already that I someday want to become an engineer, and that's why I'm going to a school that focuses on that style of learning. Excuse me? The plane is going to land soon, so the plane Wi-Fi will cut off at any moment now. Thank you for all those years of taking care of me. Kara! Bye-bye. Marvin! You took my little girl from me! What the heck do you think you're doing, taking her from me?
She was the one that told me she applied to go to the STEM school here this fall.
Excuse me? Have you all forgotten just how much I devoted and worked to care for Kara while she was deathly sick and needed me?
Devoted, huh?
What's with that?
I don't think I'll have another chance to say this after today, so I'll let you know right now. I'm not sure if you understand that when you say you've devoted yourself to her, You actually just mean you want to use her as a way to make yourself feel good. Like you use the fact that you helped her to control her and the rest of us.
Huh? What the hell does that mean?
When Kara was in the hospital getting treated and at home from time to time, you were always the one that went to be with her the most. But you were only ever there, and that's all.
Huh? I was always with her the moment she had to be admitted to the day they finished working on her, right? It's not like someone with no knowledge of medicine could do anything more for her besides be with her, right? So that's what I did.
And it's very important that you would go be with her to talk to her and such. But from what she's told me about you, you would rarely ever let her speak, instead going on tangents about yourself and the life you have. And at times when other families would be there with their sick relatives, you'd begin to speak louder so that everyone had to hear about you and your sick daughter. And sometimes what you start yelling about wasn't even appropriate for the hospital, and you caused all those other families a lot of stress. Remember that it wasn't just you going to the hospital to see Kara, and when I would go in, I'd have to apologize for everything you do.
Huh?
I had a lot of families and doctors and nurses tell me I must live a very tough life at home with you, since you had your high schooler son apologizing for the way you behaved. And another thing, you seem to forget a lot of the most basic things when it came to caring for your daughter. Bringing things like new clothes and stuff for her to change into.
Huh?
It took a lot of effort from both Dad and I to have to help with all of Kara's laundry, especially when she was becoming a teen and she began to change. Normally, someone like you should be in charge of that, but you never seemed to think about Kara's needs. So at one point, Grandma realized that Dad and I needed help and would start stopping by the hospital to grab her dirty clothes and clean them for us.
She was doing that?
Also, the reason for Dad having to start working overseas wasn't something he chose to do out of his own wants. He didn't choose to leave us to try and escape from caring for Kara, but rather to get the pay increase that came from it, so that we could afford her treatments.
Wait, that was his reason for leaving?
And when it comes to Kara's schooling, I was the one who had to school her for most of her time in the hospital and at home because she wasn't able to go to school anymore, right?
Well, I never once saw you teaching her anything from those homeschool kits.
The only reason you never saw me teaching her anything is because you hated being around me when I was with her. So you only chose to go to the hospital or come in the room when I wasn't around.
But
So, what did you do, Mom? Can you give me some concrete examples of what you did to care for her?
Well,
I'm sure you can't give me an answer, can you? I already gave the answer to that question. So now all you're left with is empty words. So do you understand now why things are the way they are?
But I'm Kara's mother.
It looks like Kara will be arriving here in just a few minutes.
Huh?
Don't worry about it. You can leave everything to do with Kara in my hands now. See ya.
You hold it right there, Marvin. I already bragged to all the other moms in my friend group about how she'd be going and joining the debate team at the high school in town. I made it seem as though she would be the most amazing student ever there as well. After years of having to battle her sickness with the help of her mother, she's still able to go to high school and win debates for her school. That would be amazing, right? Right? I have to be able to show all those people that my daughter is going to those debate tournaments and to school with great grades. If I can't, then there will be no reason for me to brag about her. Hey, can you try and convince her into coming back here and going to school? Marvin, give me back my girl!
When I began to think that was her final text to me, my mom would then send another asking me to give Kara back to her. So to keep myself from losing my sanity, I blocked her number. And as for my father and what he'd do about Mom, he ended up divorcing her about a month after that. It turns out that my father was able to come work at an office in town near my college and Kara's high school. And so he's been able to meet with her whenever she gets out of class. He's living on his own right now outside of town, but every once in a while we all get together to go out for dinner or something and catch up. And then there's a story of what's happened to my mom since then. After learning about how her husband divorced her, and having lost both her kids, she decided to leave her house and go back to her hometown. But a lot of people back home didn't like her very much anymore. And not a single person came to her side as she cried for help. These days, I think she's still back in her hometown working pretty basic jobs, but I can't be too sure of that since I haven't heard anything about her now. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Mrs. Bolton? What are you thinking kicking me out of my room? Me and my son are going to be living in this high-rise condo without you from now on. But this is my house. No, this is me and my son Carlo's house. Honestly, how many times do I have to tell you until you understand? The husband is the pillar of the household, which means that Carlo is the owner of this house, and I am Carlo's mother, meaning that I have the right to decide whether you can live here or not. But you still repeatedly insist that this is your house, acting all arrogant. I hate your face so much it makes me sick. Why did Carlo marry a woman like you in the first place? Mrs. Bolton, you keep calling me you, but I have a name, Erica. A bitch like you doesn't need a name. I hate you from the bottom of my heart. Leave. I understand that you enjoy insulting me, your son's wife, but haven't you noticed how both your husband and your son look at you? I said this is me and Carlo's room, not yours. Besides, I already decided to divorce my husband. And isn't your husband telling you to quit it and just come home already? It's already been 3 months since he barged into our house and just started living here, not to mention that you kicked me out of the room that I'm the owner of. It doesn't matter. You just have to divorce Carlo and we won't have any more problems. What? Divorce? I don't need a man so poor that he can only get a shabby apartment to live in. Once I divorce him, I'll have no choice but to move in with my son, which means that I'll automatically be able to live in this high-rise condo in a room on the 40th floor. That's why you're divorcing him? Who cares about the reason? I'll divorce him if I want to. Anyways, I'm not going to let you return to this house. What do you plan on doing with my stuff? At the present, I only have my phone and wallet in the bag I'm putting them in. Hire a moving company to pick up your stuff for you. I'll let you do that at least. I'm not going to let you come back here no matter what. Is that so? Fine, I understand. If you come, I'll call the police for trespassing. That's exactly what I want to tell you, but all right. Huh? I guess if this means that I no longer have to live with you, then all right, I guess. Hi, Carlos. I know you're currently on a business trip, but this is urgent.
Oh. Hi, Erica.
Is now a good time?
Yep, I'm free right now. What's the matter? You were taking a day off today, right?
Your mother kicked me out of our house.
What?
I went to buy some stuff at the convenience store and she locked me out.
You didn't bring a key with you?
I thought I did, but when I looked at my key holder, only my house key was gone. I think your mother must have stolen it.
Jesus, that woman is going too far.
Hey, Carlo. I understand painfully well now that your mother has wanted to live in a high-rise condo for a long time now, but I feel that recently she's been a lot more fervent about it than usual. She's even saying that she's going to divorce your father so she can live at our house.
What? She said that?
I'm sorry, but I ended up unconsciously muttering under my breath, this family is done for.
It must have been that serious if she made you say that.
I'll send you screenshots of the conversation we had by text after she kicked me out of our condo. I'll let you decide whether to show it to your dad or not.
All right. Got it.
Well, that's the situation. What she's doing seems a bit strange, even for your mother. I think something must have happened to her.
Oh, that reminds me. Dad told me this recently, but apparently the daughter of an old friend of Mom's married an extremely rich capitalist.
By your old friend, do you mean that person your mother sometimes insults and complains about?
Yep, that person. For some reason, Mother sees her as a rival.
Didn't she lose her husband 20 years ago and raised her daughter basically on her own?
Yep. Mother apparently thought that she was better than her, as a woman, because she had a husband and her friend didn't. But her daughter married a capitalist, and a filthy rich one at that. And apparently the newly married couple proposed themselves that she lived with them on the 30th floor of a high-rise condo.
Oh, and we live on the 40th floor, so it's 2 floors higher.
Yep, that's it. I don't think it matters since we live in different buildings. But apparently Mother doesn't think that way.
I see. I think I now understand what your mother's thinking, but I won't just let her take over our house because of something that stupid.
Agreed. Anyways, we have to do something about you being kicked out. Why didn't you contact the landowners?
Yeah, I considered about that too, but given the timing, I thought that it would be better if we set into motion that plan we were talking about.
Huh? Oh, that plan. I was thinking of letting you decide when we do it, but given the situation, are you sure it's all right?
It is a bit inconvenient, but the preparation is almost complete, so there shouldn't be a problem. Now I just need the cooperation of you and your father.
Got it. I'll contact Dad about it.
Thanks. I'm counting on you.
On the other hand, though, what are you going to do tonight?
I'm going to stay in the business hotel near the station. I intend on going as soon as I can check in.
All right, got it. I'm so sorry about my mother. I'm going to support what you're trying to do as much as I can.
Yep, I'm counting on you.
Oh, looks like I need to get back to work soon.
Thanks. I know you're busy. Take care.
Yep, don't push yourself too hard.
The moving company you hired came. Yep, it's just as they told me. All they have to do is take all the stuff in my room, so you don't need to do anything. Yeah, I don't care as long as you leave. By the way, I heard you sent your husband the divorce papers? Yep. I mean, why would I live with him when my son lives in a high-rise condo like this? I don't need a husband that lives in a shack of an apartment anymore. I got a text from him earlier saying that he turned in the divorce papers as well, so now me and Carlo can live together, just the two of us as a family. Carlo says he's going to talk to the people at the moving company, so I'll go and watch a movie or something. In my opinion, it would be best for you not to get too ahead of yourself, though. Erica! Is something the matter? What's the meaning of this? Why? I understand that your stuff is gone, but where is Carlo's stuff? Why did everything except my stuff disappear? I'm going to need you to take your stuff out of the room soon as well. Oh, what? Why? But me and Carlo are supposed to live in this high-rise condo together from now on. We decided to give up that room for rent. Huh? What do you mean? I thought I explained this to you before, both when I got married to Carlo and when you suddenly started living with us. The room at the high-rise condo is something I inherited from my late father. Huh? Me, the owner, am no longer going to live there. So instead of just making it an empty room, I decided to give it up for rent to earn some revenue. Hold on, wait. Your father had a large enough income to buy a room at a high-rise condo like this? Yes, he was. He ran a company. You mean he was a CEO? Also, I inherited his money, and your son Carlo is an employee there. What? Carlo's an employee at the company you own. Yep, he's the head of the marketing department. Are you lying? No, I'm not. Then, does that mean that I threw away my new life at a high-rise condo by my own doing? Yep, that's what it means. What did you say? If that's the case, Erica, it's fine if you continue living here. I told you I was giving it up for rent. Let's forget anything happened and continue living together just like before. Speaking of which, if you're a CEO, then that must mean that Carlo struck a fortune with you. You should have told me about it sooner. How was I supposed to know? Let's get along from now on, right, Erica? Please, pack your stuff and leave in 3 days. Huh? Decide for yourself where you're going to move to. But that's going to be a problem for me. My parents' house no longer exists. I can't go home to my husband's house anymore either, since I already sent him the divorce papers. What do you want me to do? Well then, goodbye. Where are you telling me I should go? Erica! Carlo? Hey! At least you're still my ally, right?
Mother,
Carlo, I'm so glad you replied.
I'm going to be taking on Erica's last name, and I'm going to be living with Erica and her mother from now on.
What?
Goodbye.
Carlo, hold on. Carlo? Help your mother, please! I have nowhere left to go! Her one-sided rivalry with an old friend and her bullying of me. My mother-in-law divorced her husband based on a whim and kicked me out of the room I owned at a high-rise condo because she didn't know I was the owner. She thought she had saved her pride and was headed to victory, but in actuality, she was heading in the opposite direction. She must have never thought, even in her dreams, that she was diving headfirst into the worst possible direction. She was able to receive some property during the property division with her husband after divorce, but it seems that because of her rivalry with this old friend of hers, she was a careless spender of money. So she spent almost all of her money on her new apartment. In this way, she lost everything, and the difference between her and her friend was almost that of heaven and hell. My mother-in-law had no skills to speak of, so now she lives a life of extreme poverty, juggling multiple low-paying jobs at once. I pity her, but I have no intention of helping her.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Claire, are you there? I think you probably already know what this is about, but when are you going to give me grandchildren?
Oh, hello, Francine. It's nice to hear from you, too. I hope that you've been doing well. I also hope that we were past the point where you always greet me with the same question, but...
So basically you're saying that you're still not pregnant. I can't guarantee things will go well for you in this family if you don't hurry up. So tell me, when do you think you'll finally get pregnant?
Well, it's really a matter that's just up to me, you know? I mean, babies are made with two people, so it's not like I can just will myself to become pregnant. And after that, there's the problem of timing it correctly around other life decisions. Basically, I don't think this is really something you can plan out or make an exact schedule for. I was hoping that as a woman that has given birth before, that you would be a little more sympathetic to my situation.
You would be right if you were talking about giving birth back in my day, but things are different now. I mean, surely science and medicine have advanced enough to the point where you can measure out exactly when you'll have one.
To be honest, I don't think either of us are really qualified to be making those kinds of statements with any kind of real certainty. After all, neither of us are doctors or even in the medical field.
Okay then, if that's how you are going to be, then why don't you just go to a hospital, have a doctor examine you, and let them decide when would be best for you?
Well, I guess I could do that, but I would want Sam there with me if I did.
What? What does my son have to do with you getting pregnant? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I'm just one person, right? But it takes two people to make a baby, so if I did see a doctor about when we could have one, I would want to go together as a couple.
Oh my gosh, sometimes I just really cannot believe you. You know that? Why are you always trying to take my poor Sam down?
Sorry? I don't think I quite understand what you mean by that. I only want the best for him.
Well, if you put even a second of thought more into this idea of yours, you might understand. Do you know how embarrassing it would be for Sam as a man to go to the maternity clinic? He would be a laughingstock. Everyone would think he's a freak. How can you say you want the best for him when you want to make him degrade himself like that?
I'm sorry. I really don't know what I could even say to respond to that. I guess we just really don't see eye to eye on some matters, but that isn't any different than usual.
I knew it. Be honest with me. You can't have kids, can you?
Are you asking me if I have some sort of condition? Well, like we've established here, I haven't even been to a doctor to seriously look into the possibilities of having a kid, so I really couldn't tell you.
Well then, that is all the more reason to go to the doctors and have them look at you, isn't it? You never know. They might find something, and then you might have to undergo some kind of fertility treatment. Better to catch that sooner than later, I would think.
That's fine, but in any case, I still would want to go to the doctor together with Sam.
I thought I already told you that that plan was no good. He doesn't belong there. Why do you keep insisting on trying to drag him there?
Well, like I said, it takes 2 people to make a baby. What if the problem isn't with me, but with Sam? I'm just thinking that if we're going to go to the doctor, then we might as well cover our bases and make sure we're both able to have kids.
Are you trying to insult my poor baby? Do you even hear what you are saying about him?
I'm not trying to imply anything about anyone. I'm just saying that medically speaking, neither of us have any confirmation that we can even have kids.
Very sorry, dear, but you have just overstepped several boundaries that you should not have. I am afraid that I will have to talk about this in private with the family.
And I'm assuming that your son's wife is not part of said family, correct?
Well, of course. What do you have to do with this? Maybe you should just keep your nose in your own business and stay in your own lane when your mother-in-law tells you to.
I see. Is that what I should do?
Claire, are you there? We need to talk. I've discussed matters with the family, and we have come to a conclusion together. I would like to share it with you so we can talk about the next steps to take. To begin with, we have all decided that it would be best if you divorce Sam.
Excuse me? Why would I do that?
Because we all decided together that it would be best. It was one of the things that we all unanimously agreed on, so there is no getting out of it. We all agreed that this family doesn't need a woman in it if she can't give the family any offspring. That is why I am asking you to start the divorce process with Sam right away.
Oh, okay. Wow. So it's all been decided already, huh? I feel like I need to ask, is Sam going to be coming home at all tonight then?
Are you crazy? Read what I just sent you. You two are about to get divorced. Of course he isn't going to be coming home to you. But that doesn't really matter for you. The house is under Sam's name anyways, so we also ask that you please leave from there right away and not put up a fight.
Oh, so you were planning to kick me out of the house too. I see. If that's the case, then you can tell Sam it's fine if he goes home.
Just why would I tell him something like that while you are still there?
Well, because I've already moved out of the house and gone to live with my parents.
Oh, really? Have you now?
Yes, and don't worry, I've already filled out my share of the divorce papers and left them at the house. Please tell Sam to send them to my parents after he signs where he needs to. Then, once I send those off to be officiated, the 2 of us will be legally divorced.
Oh, well, I suppose I must thank you for making this much easier than I thought it would be. I'm glad you finally started to see some reason.
As for splitting up our things, since we were only married for about half a year, I think most of our accounts and belongings are still pretty personal and not shared. I don't think there'll be any huge need to divide up our property, but if anything comes up, feel free to contact me about it. Okay, I'll be taking my leave now. Please hurry and send the signed divorce papers so this can end quickly.
Claire, I am messaging to let you know that I sent ahead those signed papers the day after we talked, but I haven't heard anything since. Is everything on track for the divorce? Unless, just as I thought, you didn't really want to get divorced, and so you use this as a distraction while you can run away.
Oh, Francine! I was just thinking of messaging you. Your timing is impeccable. And if you must know, your little accusation could not be further from the truth. What had happened was that the address you wrote on the envelope was wrong. It took some time, but I just received the package in the mail today.
What? The address was wrong. Are you sure?
And not that long ago, I finished up with the paperwork and sent it all off to be processed.
You did? Wow, that was really fast.
Thank you. I actually was thinking about messaging you because I just got back home from dropping off those papers. As of now, we have nothing left holding us together. You and I are just two random people living in society with no reason ever to contact each other again.
Oh, really? Well,
Thanks for the last 6 months. I'd say it's been fun, but anyways, see you.
That's right. You're no one to me now. You and I and our families are severed. Now my little Sam is single again. But I'm not worried. I know he'll find a nice wife before he knows it. And this time, I will make sure to do a proper examination of the girl and ensure she is the right girl for my Sam. And that she can actually give us grandchildren. So many things to do now. I'll be so busy from here on out. Hello, Claire. It has been a while, hasn't it? Actually, I think it's already been something like 3 years? Isn't that incredible? You know, this isn't the first time that I tried to reach out to you, but I think that you must have blocked my number. Recently, I had Sam help me buy a new phone and get a new number, so I assume these messages are getting through now.
Oh, wow, sorry, but when you say Sam, is this Francine?
Yes! Was that not obvious from the messages I just sent? You should have been able to put that together.
It's nice to hear from you too. Anyways, is there something you need from me, Francine?
Ah, that's rich. You get a message from me and you dare to pretend like you don't know what this is about?
No, I don't know what this is about. Why else would I ask unless I didn't know? But if I'm being honest, I really just want you to spit out whatever you need from me so that we can hurry up and get through this faster.
Claire, there is no need to play dumb with me. I know the truth already. Stop with these games right now.
Look, I have a lot going on in my life, and if there's anyone without time to play games, it's me. So can you please just tell me what this is about?
How could you, Claire? How could you try to hide something so huge from me? Did you really think I would never find out?
Excuse me? You think I've been hiding something from you? Well, you haven't even been in my life the past 3 years?
I told you that I wasn't interested in playing your games, Claire. Don't play dumb. I have so many witnesses who have caught you red-handed. There is no point in lying anymore. Just admit the truth so we can have a conversation like real adults.
Francine, you need to read what I'm writing to you right now, okay? I do not have a single clue what the heck you're talking about. Do you understand me? And if you're just going to talk around the topic at hand, then the conversation can't go anywhere because you aren't telling what it is you want to talk about.
I have a friend who lives in your neighborhood. I've asked her to stake out your house for me before. She's seen you and Sam going in and out of your house together. She knows you two are still together.
What are you talking about?
But it is okay. I will forgive your lying and playing dumb. I have decided that I am ready to re-welcome you to my family. That is why I'm messaging you now.
You're what? What are you talking about right now? You think Sam and I are still together?
Of course you are. And I know that you have had a kid since. So, you bring Sam and my grandchild back to me right now.
Your grandchild? And just who do you think that might be?
Don't you lie to me. I know that you had a child, and I know you did it with Sam. That's my grandson. I'm his grandmother, and I have a right to meet him.
But I haven't even had any kids. I really, honestly don't know what you're talking about.
Don't try and hide it anymore. I am telling you that I know the truth. I even asked my friend to take photos of you two together. You can't deny the evidence.
You sent someone to spy on and take photos of me?
It doesn't matter anymore. I've almost arrived to your house to take you back. Pack your essentials and get ready to leave right away.
You're what? What is going on here?
What is this? Claire! You should have told me that you live in such a lovely home. I never knew. You even have a lovely yard for the boy to run around in. Why, this place looks just marvelous to raise a family. Actually, maybe I shouldn't be taking you home at all. This house looks huge. I'm sure you have plenty of extra room. I'm sure it would be more than simple for Sam and I to move in here instead. Claire, are you going to answer the door? Don't keep me waiting.
Wow, you really did have my address. I really didn't want to believe you. Francine, the doorbell is really loud and can bother the neighbors. Can you please stop ringing it?
If you want me to stop, then you better get down here right now and answer this door. You should know better than to leave your husband and mother-in-law waiting outside here.
Francine, this isn't my house that we're at right now.
Oh, it's not your house? Is that so?
I assume that if you're ringing the bell, you already passed by the mailbox with the family's name written on it, right?
The mailbox? I didn't check it at all, but... Oh, that's curious. I don't think I've heard of this family before, and it's certainly not your maiden name.
Anyways, Francine, you're trespassing on this house without any permission from the actual owners to be here. I think that about a block down on the right side of the street, there should be a cafe. It's a red brick building. I think it would be quite hard to miss. Can you please go and wait there? I'll go and meet you in a couple of minutes.
I don't know what kind of nonsense you are trying to pull here, but if this really is someone else's house, then I'll go to that cafe instead. And make sure to bring my grandson when you come here, or else you'll regret it. Do you hear me? Claire, what is the meaning of this? You better explain yourself to me right this instant. Who is this guy you sent to come speak for you? You know, this whole time he was talking like you two were together or something like that. Whoever this guy is, he clearly has the wrong idea and you need to set him straight. I've never met such a rude man. Did you know he is even calling himself your husband?
Yes, that is correct. I married that man 2 years ago.
What did you just say to me? Are you being serious? You mean, are you trying to tell me that you are raising my grandchild together with this random man? What is wrong with you, woman?
No. Think about it, Francine. My son is not your grandson.
No, you're wrong, Claire. I've done the math in my head and it adds up. Just by looking at him, I can tell that you probably got pregnant with this kid around the time that you submitted your divorce papers.
Be that as it may, this kid is in no way related to you.
How? That doesn't make any sense. Explain yourself right now. Unless... Don't tell me you cheated on Sam?
I'm pretty sure that the kid you saw was my husband's son from his previous marriage.
What? He had a kid from a previous marriage?
That's right. When I married that man, he was a single father.
And you still married him? What were you thinking? Okay then, well, if that kid is his, then where is my grandchild?
Still not really understanding what's going on here, huh?
Quit hiding him from me and let me meet him right now. It isn't right what you're doing to us.
Lady, look, I've told you, I don't know how many times yet. I have not had any kids of my own yet. I have nothing I could hide from you, even if I wanted to. Do you understand me?
I'm sick of talking to you like this. If you're so sure about all of this, then why don't you come here and face me yourself? Or did you really just think you could drag Sam and I around and drop us off wherever you wanted as long as it was out of your hair? If you think we are going to leave without even seeing you once, then you are sorely mistaken. Come here right now.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, Francine. But after all, you were the one who came here uninvited. Anyways, there's no way I'm going down there to meet you.
So, you're just going to run away again? You coward.
No, I'm not running, but I'm doing what I think is best for the kid I have inside of me right now.
What did you just say?
We just found out, so there'll be many more exams, but we're hoping that the fetus is growing and healthy, and I want it to stay that way, which is why I'm going to do my best to keep it out of harm's way. And that especially includes meeting you in person.
That means that you can get pregnant?
Isn't that the whole reason that you reached out to me in the first place? Because you'd heard I'd already had a kid of my own?
Well, yes, but I just came here so that I could confirm for myself whether or not what my friend told me was true. If it wasn't, then I was completely ready to go back to thinking you were just a barren old shrew.
Okay, well, that was really rude. Can you two please just go home now? We're already divorced. We have nothing holding us together. No need to be in each other's lives anymore. I thought we had already established this. It shouldn't be news.
But this changes things now. If you can get pregnant, then that means you really could have another chance with my Sam. It's not too late.
You think I even want another chance with Sam? Like some kind of betting game where the stakes are my whole life or something?
What's the matter? Come now, don't be so dramatic. And besides, just what is wrong with getting back together with my little Sammy anyways?
Everything. I mean, isn't it just like you said? It was the same when we talked about the divorce. Did he ever push back on what you said? It's already been 3 years since we were together, but I still remember. There was one day that we were together, and at the dinner table you just kept hurling abuse at him. And he just sat there saying nothing and looking down at the table like a little boy being scolded.
And just what is wrong with that? A boy should listen to his mother. I don't see any issue there.
Oh my goodness, do you really need me to spell it out for you?
What are you talking about? Just spit it out.
I'm saying I don't want to marry a man with an Oedipus complex.
What? You think that my son thinks of me like that? You're sick.
And if you think that I'm going to go back to living with a husband who wants to sleep with his mother while she bullies me mercilessly, well, then you are just delusional. I will never go back to that. Never.
You think he has a complex?
Yes, that's what I just said. Your son is a little weirdo in love with his even stranger mother.
What did you just say to me?
It doesn't matter. In any case, you're lucky because my husband reminded me that I'm pregnant and shouldn't be getting this mad for the sake of the baby. So I'll be ending this conversation now.
Wait right there! You have to remarry Sam. He's got no one else. And besides, what am I supposed to do? I've already gone around to all my neighbors to tell them about you having my grandson and that you and Sam were going to get remarried. Do you know how embarrassing it will be for me to go around and tell them all that that wasn't true? Just imagine it. You wouldn't want me to go through that. Please, everything will be okay if you just marry Sam again. I need this. Claire, are you listening to me? I'm being honest right now. This isn't a game.
After that, Francine and Sam tried showing up at the house again and refused to leave. Finally, my husband got so mad that we went outside and told them that if they didn't leave, he would call the police. Well, at the same moment, they got scared and they hightailed it out of there. Later, I heard from another person in the neighborhood that there was a strange lady going around and stopping young women saying, "Would you mind if I checked to see if you could carry my precious son's child?" Needless to say, the police were called before long. Maybe Sam did end up going to get examined to see if he could have kids. I wonder if they had bad news for him. I shouldn't be making assumptions, but after all this happened, I heard that Sam suddenly had a huge change of character. He left his house and his clingy, controlling mother. Apparently, he did not leave quietly, though, and many people saw him shouting that he didn't like his mom in that way and stormed out. As for Francine, now she lives a sad life all alone in her home.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.